Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 59 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills answers your table tennis questions. In today's episode, we discuss the backhand serve, blocking a loop that has hit the net, why some people's topspin dip really fast, and John's problem gluing a sheet of rubber on his bat. As always, Super Coach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Morning, Jeffrey.
Morning. How are you?
Going well this morning.
Excellent. Yeah. I'm a little bit tired, Alois. I was up last night watching the 2020 cricket, and let me tell you, here on the show, I'm going to make a big prediction. Test cricket is dead. In 25 years, it will no longer be played. T20 is going to become the main cricket. I tell you, my two sons, one of them loves cricket, the other one not so much, but they both much prefer watching T20. It'll get a wider audience. My son that doesn't like cricket so much will not watch Test cricket, finds it really boring, but doesn't mind T20. It is the way of the future.
Well, we will be keeping this tape and checking on you in 25 years, Jeffrey.
Excellent. And so while watching the cricket, Alois, I was there trying to learn the Ortega method of solving the 2x2 Rubik's Cube. Very interesting.
The Ortega method.
Yes, the Ortega method. Got fewer steps, and so it helps you solve it quicker than just the beginner's layer-by-layer method.
Is that like the Zhangzi Ke reverse pendulum?
Not quite that good. For that, you need different methods. You need like an EG1, and it's even more complicated.
Okay.
Anyway, I digress. Let's get on with the show, Alois.
Good idea.
So yesterday's PingSkills question of the day was, who will be number one in the men's and women's at the end of 2015?
All right. Well, yeah, interesting question because I reckon, well, the women's, I think Ding Ning probably, she seems to be pretty strong, pretty dominant. But, there's a couple, two or three of the Chinese women. I think it will be a Chinese player. That's a definite. In the men's, I reckon things aren't going to change a whole lot. The one that I see moving up will be Fan Zhendong, but will he be able to catch the other guys? I think that Zhu Xin will still be number one at the end of the year.
Interesting. All right, well, we'll check this tape in a year and see if you're right. I agree with you about the Chinese players. I think they are certainly going to be number one of the Chinese players in both the men's and the women's. I'm going to go with Ding Ning. I've always liked Ding Ning in the women's to be number one at the end of 2015. And for the men, I reckon Fan Zhendong is going to make it to number one. I reckon he's good enough.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, I was just having a look. So in February of 2014, so about a year ago, the rankings were Ma Long 1, Zhu Xin 2, Zhangzi Ke 3, Fan Zhendong 4. Not a lot of things. Zhu Xin's now number 1, Fan Zhendong's gone up to 3, Ma Long's not playing much anymore. Yeah, things just don't change that quickly in the game, but we'll see.
We certainly will. All right, so that moves us on to the PingSkills question of today, which is, what is your favorite activity apart from table tennis? So,
and I think we might have had a clue from you today already, Jeffrey.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of sort of fleeting activity, so, it may not last that long, the Rubik's Cube session, Sometimes I like magic card tricks, sometimes Rubik's Cubes, always something different, Alois.
Yes.
We'll discuss ours in tomorrow's show. But all you PingSkillers, leave a note. Let us know what your favourite activity is besides table tennis. All right. So Brock's just jumped on with the Google Q&A app and asked a few questions, Alois. So we'll just run through some of those. So Brock says, "Hey PingSkills, what is the best sort of bat and rubber you can buy?"
It's obviously a PingSkills bat. No. The thing is with the bat that you've got to get a bat that's right for your level. So at the beginner level, just a slower blade with slower rubber, so you can control the ball better. just make sure that it's got some sponge underneath. Make sure it's got a reasonably grippy surface on it, even at the starter level. The next level, we need to start to think about just a slightly faster blade and a slightly faster rubber. But Brock, there are so many options out there. It's impossible to nominate a thing. We like Mark V rubber, for example. There's Shriver rubber. There's a whole lot of other rubbers as well that are suitable for different levels. So there's certainly one bat.
Exactly. And so if you find a bat that you like and a rubber that you like, just use it. If you're really confused about what choice to make, we've just picked some that we know are good. And like Alice said, they're by no means the only ones, but we know they're good. And you can find them on our website, PingSkills.com, and go to the online store there, and you can see the ones that we've recommended. All right. The next question from Brock is, which training camp did you guys join before you started making PingSkills videos?
So I trained a lot just with the state and then national academies and squads and things like that. So that's what I was doing when I was playing. And they were quite separate to starting up PingSkills. So PingSkills was more for us to be able to spread the coaching around the world. But training was completely different.
Yeah, excellent. All right.
Where did you train?
So I grew up in Canberra, so I first started training with the ACT Table Tennis Association, and then I just went in competitions, and as I got better, I joined the national squad, which was down in Melbourne at the time, and then that's why I moved to Melbourne and trained with that national squad, which was really fantastic experience. All righty. So the next question is from John Alloys, who's having trouble with gluing rubber on his bat. He says, I put a second coat of sealer on the blade, and then when I used the free jack, the glue was drying as fast as I spread it. It clumped up. I scraped the glue and tried putting more this time, and when I put the rubber on the blade, the rubber is peeling off.
Yeah, it is a problem with some sealers. So a sealer is just like something you put on the blade. On the wood underneath the rubber there. It was used a lot when players were using fast glue because you were taking the rubber off and putting it on quite often, and the sealer was just helping to not chip the wood as you took the rubber off and put it back on again. Nowadays, I don't think sealers are really that useful at all because we don't change the rubber that often. The problem you've got there is that because you would put a sealer on it, it just hasn't got much grip on it. It can be quite hard, and so it's difficult for the rubber to stick to that and for the glue to absorb into that to help it stick as well. So if you do have that situation, probably just get a little bit of sandpaper or grit paper and just rough up the surface a bit, give it a good clean, and that might help the glue to stick. So give that a try.
Yeah, now I noticed that John was saying he was trying to, as he was putting the glue, it was drying as fast as he could put it on. But I think generally you want the glue to dry first because if you put it on wet, it does move around a bit. Is that your experience, Alois?
Yeah, I think what was happening with John was that because the glue wasn't actually drying, it was just clumping. It was almost like the water on a windscreen. It clumps together because it hasn't got anywhere to go. So so I think that was probably what was happening.
All right. Well, hopefully that tip there with the sandpaper might help you out. I guess you just got to be careful about how you do it with a light sandpaper, but give that a try and see if it helps you out, John. All right. The next question is from Manuel, who says, I'm a right-hander, and I do a backhand serve from the left side of the table with my left foot further away from the table. I don't know if the ball is coming short. I stand parallel to the table and kind of fall over. I can't figure out the problem.
Yeah, okay, so Manuel, so what Manuel's doing is he's right-hander and he's starting with his serve, so he's turned a bit that way when he's serving. which is okay, as long as you follow through and come back to the straight position again, which he's doing. The issue is if the ball's short, if you just reach forward with your bat, you're not going to be in a good position to hit it. So you have to go in with your right foot, step right in with your right foot so that you're getting close to the ball for that short, close to the ball and close to the net for that short ball on the forehand side. If you stand, so you've served, you're standing square on and then try to reach for that short ball on the forehand, you will have problems that will be difficult to control. So, yeah, make sure you're moving in. Get your right foot to go in right under the table and close to the bounce area of the ball.
Okay, excellent. So what's a good way to practice that? Is it just a matter of actually practicing some short pushing, moving in and out, or should you actually practice it like with a serve and then get someone to push it short and move in?
Yeah, ideally practice it with the serve because that's the pattern that you want to learn and to remember. So you can just do it by doing short pushing with multi-ball. So, you know, get someone to push one short and one long even so that you move out and then move in. But if you can practice it with a serve, so you can get a whole box of balls, sit it next to you, serve, get them to push it short to your forehand, move in and make the push, and then grab another ball and do the same thing again. So just do serve, short push, serve, short push. And then as a variation, if you start to get the feel of that movement, then get your training partner to either push it short to the forehand or push it long to the forehand so that you're not moving straight in, you're serving, you're watching where the ball's going, and then you move in for the short ball, or you stay there and play your forehand topspin off the long ball. So that's a really good drill that you can do.
Okay, great advice there. Hopefully that helps you out, Manuel. Give those a try. Okay, the next question is from Long, who says, after they blocked my loop, it touched the top of the net, and when I touched it, because it has lots of topspin, it went out. What should I do when the ball has topspin or even backspin or side spin, touches the net and bounces on my table?
Yeah, so the effect of the ball touching the net, it basically slows the ball down. So it feels like there's more topspin or more spin on it because of that, because it hasn't got as much momentum. So when the ball's really slow and spinny, it will tend to kick up a little bit more off your bat. If it's faster and spinny, it'll bounce out of your bat that way more. So if it's slow and got the same amount of spin, it'll go up that way. If it's faster, it'll come out that way. So that you just have to adjust to that, and it can be a really difficult ball to adjust to. And most of the time, when someone plays a topspin ball that touches the net and bounces on, you'll find that the blocker will hit the ball off the end of the table. It's just an adjustment that you need to make, and it's an adjustment that you start to learn the more times you can do it. So, you know, the next time that a guy gets a net against you, you know, practice it. Thank them. Say, beauty, another chance to practice getting that net ball back.
Yes, another chance to practice. I like it. So, yeah, a couple of things there, Alice. I guess when the ball touches the net, it puts you, well, the ball doesn't follow the normal trajectory it was going to, so it's hard to get into good position in the first place. The other point, I guess, is it's hard to practice that because you can't just get someone to keep hitting the net for you. And then, thirdly, I think we mentioned this in a previous show, one of the best shots you've ever seen was after the ball has hit the net.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the World Team Championship final when Wang Hao was playing Timo Boll, and Boll hit a ball that touched the net, and he was able to stop his shot, you know, adjust and make a counter topspin. So it was one of the best shots I've ever seen. And yeah, you're right. Being able to adjust to that ball, you know, with your body position can be really difficult as well, and that will contribute to you not being able to control the ball as well.
Okay, excellent. All right, thanks for the question, Long. Now, Whaley has a question for us, Alois, and Whaley says, I noticed while playing against someone, their topspin or their drive would sometimes sink. Is this behavior dependent on the intensity of spin or power? I usually see this done with topspin, but can this be done with other spins?
Yeah, so it's about learning the flight of the ball. So topspin is the spin that will really make the ball dip down. So with topspin, the ball, instead of taking that sort of path, will dip very quickly down that way. So rather than that, it'll be that. With backspin, you'll find the ball will hold up a little bit longer before it drops onto the table or drops down. So yeah, so that sinking happens when there's a lot of topspin on the ball. The ball spins and drags itself down. I'm sure some physicists can explain that to us a little bit better.
Yes, but it is consistent, isn't it? So the topspin will dip, the backspin will actually float the other way, and certain side spins will curve. So it's kind of easy to, well, not easy, but you can get used to learning it and seeing how the ball curves, and it sort of becomes natural to you how the ball will react after someone hits it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean it's not a mystery that what's going to happen. Again, it's physics. So you know, if they put a certain amount of topspin on the ball will behave in that pattern. And the other good thing is that we play an indoor sport, so it's not really affected by a lot of other things. You know, like in tennis with the wind and all that sort of stuff. So in table tennis, the ball is very predictable in what it does. So if they hit it with topspin, it's going to do that. If they hit it with backspin, it's going to do that. But as you said, Jeff, it's just a matter of learning those patterns and what the flight of the ball is actually going to be.
All right. Well, hopefully that helps you out, Whaley, and you can learn those patterns and even implement them yourself. Yes, thanks for the question. All right, Alois, that wraps up another show. Thank you, PingSkillers, for watching, and thanks for all your questions. Make sure you check out our website, PingSkills.com. Sign up for our free newsletter if you haven't. Lots of free tips. And Alois, we've got one more quick question from Brock. He says, if I want to block a spin, should I do it slow or fast?
Yeah, so initially block fairly slowly, just get the control right, and then you can start to punch the ball a little bit faster after that. But yeah, to start with, just control it, just try to get the angle of your racket right. That would be the best to start with.
Yes, indeed. And I guess once you've learned the block, like with anything, you want some variation, don't you? Variation is spin, speed, and placement. So learn the basics and then go from there. Indeed. All right. Thank you, Brock. And as I said, thank you, PingSkillers. Check out our website, pingskills.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back on Monday with episode 60. And thank you, Alois.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.